It should be pain free. See, that's the idea. We want to, I'm not, me personally, I love the concept of aging. I want to age gracefully. And I look forward to transitioning one day. Because I know my goal is to live a life where I have no regret. I've lived to my potential. I've experienced everything I can do. I think that, to me, is truly happy. When you come and say, you know what, I'm ready to go. Matter of fact, I'm going to truly go, and not suicide. But I say, okay, I'm done. It's like we sleep again. It's just like we have in the day cycle. Every day we go to sleep. That's symbolic of death. But waiting for us eventually is after sleep. So I want to know, look, I'm at peace. And I'm gonna, I'll see y'all on next lifetime. Right. Or on another planet. Or how about something like that? So that's part of what motivates me. And hopefully it should motivate you. I think that's our birthright. All of us in here, I'm sure, have experienced, a loved one, someone in our family who falls ill, and then, that puts a strain on everybody. It puts a strain on us emotionally, and time. We don't take care of it. It's like, when I'm 80 or when I'm 110, I don't want nobody looking after me. I don't want to have nobody to bathe me, to wipe me. I want to be able to do all those things. So getting back to our kitchen. We got our equipment. In your kitchen, you want to basically, people always tell me, can I use my oven? No, you can't use your oven. Just like if you're trying to use a microwave, can you use your oven to replace your microwave? You can, but it's not going to be as fast. Again, we gotta break. This is about breaking into new territory. To really want to inspire you to invest in yourself. And part of that is investing in some of the tools that you have. We have this modern technology that we can have work for us. Okay? So we have our dehydrator. If you haven't seen, we have one over there at the booth. So we got the vegetables in there cooking. Okay, slowly, gently. Alright? It's very important. Dehydrator. More important than our dehydrator is our food processor. So if we get to a second dish, we're going to use this, and then we have a blender. So I have vitamins here. So last but not least, which I don't have up here, is like juicing, or show off like juicing, and a juicer. And that would be the fourth piece of equipment that you would need to round out. But if I had the Rango, I would say my food processor, this is the queen of the kitchen right here. This does all the prepping, this does the sauces, this does the meats that we make, and then some bread. This is like 80%. We use this 80% of the time. And then I would say second is dehydrator. The dehydrator, see, what was the first thing I said? What was the most important reason why you eat more raw food?
Hydration.
Moisture. Yes, moisture. Now, dehydration goes against moisture. However, what we do is, from a culinary, artistic side or standpoint, is that we don't necessarily go, even our bread, we're not looking for it, and take out all the moisture. So we have it in there for maybe an hour or so. Like I had a burger, or a crab cake. Again, these were partially dehydrated. So what it did is change the texture slightly. It's taking out a little bit of moisture. Because the moisture is more important than anything. It's more important than the vitamins, and the enzymes and all that. It's about water at the end of the day. So the hydrator is the second most important in terms of your culinary kitchen, and then the blender. The blender is important because the thing is like with the style, the way that we make the juices at our shop is that we don't use a juicer. Because one thing I don't like about a juicer, you have to spend a lot of money on a juicer in order to produce juice that's not going to have juice in the pulp. Okay, that pulp is not dry, then you're losing out. So what we do here, and I didn't bring any bags, but what we do is we take the juice out literally by hand. So we blend it and we squeeze it through a car. Okay, so and that's a great way to do that, and that's the way that we like to do it. So the blender in that way can replace the juicer. Now, in terms of when I go into some of the science of creating a recipe, one of the things that I like to do, or always talk about, or always address, is recipe creation. There's a formula that I follow. And anytime I'm making a recipe, it could be a dessert, it could be definitely a dressing or a sauce, or even like a nut pate. There's something elemental about each recipe that gives it its thing that you like. So essentially it comes down to what I consider the 5 taste sensations in the mouth. And I always turn it back to the audience and say, what are those 5 taste sensations that we recognize in our mouth? We got salt, sweet, sour, bitter, hot. Very good. So let's start with salt and sweet, because that's usually what I hear either first or second. Or, because again, that's what we look for first or second, is salt and sweet. And any processed food, packaged food, anything that you buy, it's already made, it always has salt and sweet. That's the combination that we're always looking for in our mouth, salt and sweet. And like I said, salt and sweet is not bad. Everything is salt and sweet. But we need salt and sweet. However, we need it in the right form. But as a chef, you have to understand, like, salt and sweet. Those are the ones that really the pleasure side of food in terms of, once we put it in our mouth. Now, the other 3, those are what I call more of the medicinal sensations. Sour, essentially the things give you a sour vibration is more or less usually high in vitamin C. So like we got lemon lime, even vinegar. So we don't want to use white vinegar, we want to use apple cider vinegar. We want it to have that stuff on the bottom. That's the loving culture. That has some of the healing properties. We want to shake it up when we get that in our food. We want to use it with vinegar. So the sour, again, is very, very important. But medicinal. And then, bitter, because these are the 2 that again are probably most medicinal. Bitter, especially all of our fresh herbs, our seeds tend to be more bitter. Nuts tend to be more sweet. So seeds, because a lot of people may have nut sensitivity, allergy, but almost no one is allergic to seeds. So seeds are generally more beneficial from a nutritional standpoint, but tend to be more bitter and not sweet. And of course, my favorite is hot. The hot is the circulation. And one of the things that I use is one of my biggest secrets. We have hot pepper. And we don't use, a lot of times we're just using it not to make it spicy, but just to get it what it has its flavor. See, the more sweet something is, really the less flavor it has. When we're tasting flavor, we're tasting bitter, we're tasting hot. Again, and then under hot is also pungent. Pungent is onion, garlic, scallions, leeks. That's flavor. Flavor is not sweet. Sweet accentuates flavor. Salt accentuates flavor. So it's about the bitter and the hot and the sour. Those are what, especially in the bitter, the fresh herbs. This is flat parsley. Any of the herbal family, but that also extends into other bitter foods. And then of course our hot is if you're not using any, this is I think this is Jamaican chocolate pepper. I get a lot of different hot varieties of pepper. Ghost pepper, Scotch bonnet, habanero. Those are some of the scorpion, I think, is the hottest pepper. And the thing is like getting these peppers extremely hot. You just use like a little piece, just a little sliver. Because the heat, most of the heat is in the seeds. So just using a little piece is not only going to bring, it's going to raise the vibration of the whole recipe. And what it's doing is saying, well, can I just use cayenne pepper? You can use cayenne pepper, but the thing is that cayenne pepper cayenne pepper don't have the moisture, doesn't have the oil, doesn't have the fiber. It's just flakes. Okay, it's just heat. See, this has energy. See, when you eat food that has this in it, what happens is that you don't taste it right away. You start chewing, and then it like sneak up on you hot. You don't know about that. So, and actually, we have some fried sauce. Usually my regular customers, and we didn't necessarily advertise that today. And for those that missed out on that, I apologize. But if you want to get some food later, or we'll be here tomorrow, ask for the fire sauce. We'll give you a little fire sauce. So, it's primarily these peppers. What we do is, I think the fire sauce is like jackfruit. So that may not be familiar. And again, jackfruit is a tropical fruit. It's delicious. So the peppers are that rounds out the 5. And so in just about every recipe, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's dessert, it doesn't matter if it's definitely a sauce or a dressing, it could be a soup, it could be something like that. So today, what I want to demonstrate today, we're going to do, I do this recipe a lot because it's quick. You're only going to be using the blender, but we're going to create, we're going to do a chili, raw chili. There's no beans, just these few ingredients up here. I mean, I do like to, sometimes when I have fresh corn, they got corn over here? They got corn over there. I just want to say some produce. They had some corn, I like to add corn to it, but we have avocado. So I like the corn. So it's like a corn avocado chili. And it's really simple. People love it, and it's all good. So, but I can't talk and cut and do all these things, because so I'm going to ask for a volunteer. My man G. Yeah, why don't you come on up here? Yeah, this is one of my old buddies from DC. Actually, he's been in the kitchen with me before. Why don't you go ahead and wash your hands, and we got some gloves for you too. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead. While we wait for him, let me talk about some of the things that I have. I have a course. This is my my culinary course. So it goes into depth in terms of like the raw food science. It goes into the lecture is becoming and staying raw. So I'll talk about the 5 keys that is necessary. And I touched on some of those tonight. And then I go into the kitchen, and then each dish has a feature. So I got one dish just devoted to salads and dressings, sauces. And another one just on liquids, juices, smoothies, soups. And then of course we get into entrees and desserts. So it's a complete course. And then of course I have my book. And I'm going to give you like just some reference. I started writing this book I think in 2006. And how it came about was I had an idea to do like an urban retreat. Before that, I was working with my teacher, Miss Lathan. We were doing retreats and we do this coconut water fast, and everybody would feel so great. And I had fasted before, but once I started fasting with coconut water, I found that I had no energy. I didn't feel weak. I didn't even really feel hungry. Fasting with coconut water as a base, because coconut water as a water is a whole food. So I go into that in the book, but when I created this urban retreat right in DC, where we was going to do yoga in the morning before people went to work. So you go to work, you come back, or you go do yoga in the morning, give you a juice for the day, go to work, you do what you got to do, you come back, you have like a little meeting or something. And we basically repeated that every day for a week. So essentially, people wanted the program. So I started writing like how to do, what juices to drink, how to make the juices. So I have some recipes. Basically tells you like, what grew out of that program. And I just kind of involved it. So it's more of the philosophy and the science behind it. And it also tells you the importance of really creating a foundation and using detoxification to do it. And not just that, doing it as a lifestyle. Because the thing is, it's like, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to fast for 40 days, or I'm going to do it. I just feel, you may be going through some transition or change, and food is just not, you just need to get away from it. And it's a very beautiful thing to do. But at the same time, what we do habitually will make a difference in the end. So this book is that. And just to give you a preview, hopefully, I'll come back next year. I'm working on a recipe book. How many people are familiar with Finalizing Garden? Y'all know about that? I heard y'all remember that? Okay, so just real quick, Finalizing Garden was actually the first raw vegan restaurant in the country. It started by some brothers in Morehouse College back in the early 90s. One of the brothers who was writing the book, Hutchins, he was at Morehouse and featured on one of those, PBS, CNN, okay, and that's how I heard it. And then they actually had relocated to DC. So this happened at the time I was at Howard University. It was right across the street. And so I had connected with them back then. This is 20 years ago now. The business died out. They went to law school and got basic degrees. And actually, that's when my law career started to really catch fire, pick up. And now, just this past year, everything's come full circle because me and Emma are really going to put together. We're going to republish the Finalizing Garden using like all of the science and the skills and the skills that I've learned. Because again, they were ahead of their time and they weren't doing anything quite like this, but it was good for that time. So we're going to be working on a book next year this time. We'll have the book, get a nice color, photo, recipe, and everything. So, but what we're going to do, before we get into the recipe, I want to do a special. on our website, it's $65 for both of these. So today, you get both of these today, $50 for both. So we'll do it today and tomorrow, $50 for both. So if you want to get that. The other thing I mentioned, the juice cleanse. We actually do ship 3-day juice cleanse. And actually, Richmond is for those of you that live here that don't want to do 3-day juice cleanse, we can ship it out to you. It's overnight, and we can do the normally it's over $100, and we can do it for $99. We can ship it everything. If you want to do that, you want to sign up for that, you can get information later. And then we'll definitely take a brochure and we'll tell you all about and answer all your questions. All right, ready for you. Okay, so the first thing, we're going to recipe. So these are sun-dried tomatoes, and these are you can usually buy sun-dried tomato in oil, like in olive oil, or you can buy them dry. And either way, it will work. Typically, when we have to use sun-dried tomato in our food processing, usually better if they're in oil because they're easier to break down. But in our blender, it's not going to matter. So we're going to go ahead and empty out, we're going to go ahead and dump that in there. Okay, let's take out about, let's scoop out a little bit here. So we're going to do about a cup of sun-dried tomatoes. These have lines, so that's about a cup, so that's good. And that's really gonna, the sun-dried tomato is really, it has a strong texture. So that's gonna give us like that texture for our chili. All right, next what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the cuts. So go ahead and feel this thing in. So we're gonna put our onion. He's been out of practice, you see. Alright, might have to jump in. Let's see. Cut the ends. Kitchen muscles is weak. Alright, so then go ahead and cut the line. Like this. So really, the chili is kind of like it's really how to classify it would be like a soup, and that's what we want to create. We want to create something that is hearty, flavorful, but also something that can stand on its own. Just don't have a lot of moisture. So it's basically going to really go with all the senses. Okay, let me do our cuts. I'll do that. Yeah. Just cut it in half. So we're going to put our bell pepper. And one thing about our bell pepper, we don't want to just cut the middle out with your hands. So all that's food. And we don't want to, and do the other side.
One is better for raw, and the other one is
Well, in terms of bell peppers, I don't use green bell peppers. I use either red, yellow, or orange, and that's because green is unripe. We want to use, these are fruits. And those seeds are edible. We don't have to spend time getting those seeds out. So go ahead and just cut these into pieces. Yeah, four. Yeah. Cut it to each side. Big chunks. We want our blender to do a lot of them. We don't want to spend a lot of time at on the cutting board. We don't have to. There we go. Now we get all right. So once we're gonna put our bell pepper in there. We have some heirloom tomatoes. Now, one of the things I mentioned, or I didn't mention in terms of like food in general, one of the things, like if you ever go to a market and really, true food doesn't replicate itself. Just like we all look different, we all have, you could be from the same parents, come out looking different. And one of the things is our food should represent that as well. It doesn't matter, you go to the organic market, everything looks the same color, same shape, anything. True food, like you see these coconuts, different shapes, that's really how our food should be. Like I see the watermelon over there. The watermelon should all be the same color, the same size, and the same weight. We want our food to have some personality. Okay? So like our tomatoes, I like to get these like tomatoes that be all different colors and everything. Because one of the things that I talked about is flavor. When flavor is the opposite, or it has an inverse relationship with sugar. See, when things become more uniform, as man steps in and he wants to create this uniformity because of business, then what happens is that it increases the sugar in that food, and it doesn't taste as flavorful. When we eat the watermelon that has the seeds and it's all big, and we taste it. Yeah, it tastes sweet, but really what we taste it is the flavor. It's not the sweet, it's the flavor. The flavor is really that opposite of the sugar. So we really want to get into, have this understanding when we're shopping. And of course, that's really a plug for the farmers market. You really want to shop with the local farmers. That is way better than anything you get organic. That is organic. You've got to redefine these terms because we can get lost in the business side of organic. So go ahead and cut these onion up in big chunks. Okay. So we got our onions. So our bell pepper, that's obviously a sweet. Onion is a hot. We're gonna put some parsley down. Usually in this recipe, I like to use cilantro, but parsley works in this as well. We're gonna push it down in there, create some space. Push it pretty hard. All right, so we're gonna do our parsley. Yes, and just cut it like 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inch. Just cut it. Yeah. The whole thing. Yeah. See, that's the thing. With our herbs, we don't want to skim. This is food, okay? And not that we're going to eat a parsley salad, but we want to be generous. We want to really get into using lots of this stuff. We want to be eating lots of this stuff. This stuff is loaded with iron, vitamin K, and calcium, all the things that everyone is deficient in. Yeah, I mean it stems too. We don't throw that's food that has moisture, that has energy. going to put all that in there. Go ahead and grab that and stuff it in there. You know, our crab cake and our burger, it's the same approach. You know, you may be homing and you're biting into just as much pasta as you are homing. Because again, we understand the science of creating that balance. You know, so when we balance it nutritionally, we also balance it in flavor. So you see how now understanding some of the basic science really allows you to be a better artist. Because you understand this thing, you know, nuts being acid, herbs being alkaline, you want to eat balance. You definitely don't want to be too acidic, and you necessarily don't want to be too alkaline either. You know, yes, it may be better to be alkaline than be acidic, because acidic you get jumpy or jittery or anger or hostile, and then, you know, I mean, some of those people that are in the clouds, you don't want to be in the clouds either. You know, so you want to ground, you want to have balance. So yeah, we definitely use our puzzle. So we're gonna empty our tomato. Just about half. So again, our tomatoes, and you know, these tomatoes we can eat. You know, these are fruits. And you know, tomato, you should be able to eat it, and it tastes like you know. I hope you had that experience when you eat the tomato, you're like, wow, that is delicious. You know, because again, the tomato is the cover. You know, we got our bitter, parsley, we got our hot. Alright, so now it's time to add some moisture. So we're gonna about a cup. Go ahead. I usually measure with my eyes. Go ahead. Well, just start pouring. Okay, that's good. Now when you're making a soup, get a little more. So typically with a soup, it's really a combination of oil and water. But typically, so it's very similar to a dressing. A dressing is probably going to be a little more oily than it is water. The soup is going to have more water than oil. They're really very close in terms of in terms of the soup, they're gonna have more water, but they're very close in terms of what goes into it. So next, speaking of that, we need our water. Now, one of the things Chef Khepra is all about is the coconut. I don't know that you see the picture of coconut. So any recipe, and that's again another secret, any recipe that calls for water, always use some coconut water. The salad dressing, it could be definitely something like this. One of the things that coconut water does, if you're using coconut water, even if you're using, like you can have your coconut, or if you can't get the coconut, you can settle for something like this, which is fine. So you go ahead and empty that in there. Okay, got a little really pretty water. Go ahead and empty the whole thing. We'll use that, and let's see, we may need some more. Okay, so for demonstration, I'll put you on the spot. I don't suggest you try it like this at home. literally cut, I've been cutting these things for years, thousands of coconuts. So if you ever come to the festival, some festivals were chopping all day. But typically, let's see. Okay, coconut 101. All right, so your coconut. This is like, again, going back to nature. All right, we understand our first food, or our first food should be, is mama's breast. All right, that's our first, other than air. We don't even need to drink water. We can be on the breast. And for all of you women who want to or have children, basically, well, around the world, most children are breastfeeding 5-6 years of life. And they slowly wane or they slowly wane off of it. And the thing is like, really, this is Mother Nature's breast. You see the shape, you see that's the nipple, and really, what right here, there's a soft spot. So that is one relatively easy way to get into the coconut is to sort of chop it, or you can even take a drill and drill it right down in the center. That's the soft spot right there. So that's really an easy way to sort of get into it. Now, if it's a harder coconut, this coconut probably has a little bit of meat and has a little, because most people say, well, that doesn't like coconut, what about that brown and hairy thing? This is the young coconut, so this is what will transform into the mature brown coconut that we may be more accustomed to. So the young coconut we want to have for the water, the mature coconut is what we want for the meat. So yes, it may have some water in there, but it's not necessarily as good as the water that's in here. Okay, so we want to really get at it this way. So that's one way to open the coconut. Now, if you want to get at the meat, and you may have to use a cleaver or a round, you want to crack it open. There's different ways to do it. Now, the way I do it is a technique that I learned while I was in Brazil. Brazil is probably 1 million coconut trees in Brazil, and using this technique, I guess it's something to, for demonstration purposes, you can see how I do it, and essentially, it's a pretty easy way if you have a good handle on the machete. So usually what I do, I like to cut a bottom. So like, you can sit it on the table and we have first. And then I turn it around. See, because what happens is the coconut hangs on the tree. So, hold that up for me. So really, the shell is lower as opposed to here. So that's why you turn it around. Most people, you see them cutting with a machete. They'll cut it on this side because the shell is closer to the skin because it hangs. But again, that soft spot, I don't know if y'all can really see, but you can see how it changes color a little bit in the middle. That's where that soft spot is. So if you don't have a machete, you want to just take a drill or screwdriver, you go right through there. But I usually take that in and cut a bottom, because I sell coconuts a lot, and people always like put it down and they roll and water goes in the rest. So I'm gonna cut the Thank you. All right, so I still got my hand. Dump that in there. So again, looking at this coconut, you really should go from a mother's breast to Mother Nature's breast. And that can sustain us for the rest of our life, really. So getting almost to the conclusion of our dish here. We're going to add some, last but not least is our, yes. So these peppers have been frozen, so they're not as hot. Now, if these were fresh, you would just, again, cut like a little sticker. But you go just cut it in half right down there. But typically with the season, you buy peppers in the late summer. That's typically when they're in season. Because again, yeah, go ahead and put that. Because what happens is that the pepper needs to sit. Okay, right. Alright. So very critical, especially for anything with a tomato base. You want to bring that fire and balance the tomato. But I always ask this question, do we have everything represented? All the taste sensations? I know y'all been paying attention. Okay, so we got our hot is our onion and our pepper. Got our bitter, parsley. We got the sweet. Well, where's our sweet? Our sweet pepper. And where else is sweet pepper from? We got coconut water. The tomato. What about the salt and the sour? Right. Good. Good, very good. Sometimes tomatoes are usually salted. Okay, sometimes you can buy them unsalted, but typically I never have to add any additional salt to this dish. And what about the sour? Again, our tomato. Tomatoes, good tomatoes, are going to have sweet and salt. Sweet and sour. Okay, and actually salt too. Tomatoes have natural sodium. So last but not least, we're going to add some spice. So we have we have a ground cumin powder, and we have a chili powder. So we're going to add a good amount. We're going to add like a tablespoon of each.
That's the chili powder.
Okay, I think we're ready. Okay, now one of the things that's real important in this dish is this vitamin. Before we turn it on or anything, this vitamin is got a strong motor, and if we let it run long enough, everything is going to look like one thing. For chili, we still want to see the onion, we want to see the parsley, we want to see all the different colors represented. So we basically just have to let this run for not even 10 seconds even. Basically, for those of you who are familiar with using the vitamins, what will happen is that it will blend, it will work really hard, and it will hit a groove, and the sound will change. So once we hear that sound, we shut it off. So I like to put it on high. Now, quick note about the vitamins. Let me turn it around. For those of you that are in the market for the vitamins, you don't be swayed or misled about all the different options. You really just pay what your money is going towards is the motor or the engine. You don't need these little things in the middle, the little knobs or the timers or little things. You need on and off and high and low. That's it. All that other stuff, when you're buying those other fancier ones, it's the same engine, same motor, But now you're paying $50, $100 more, so you can just gradually turn it up to high. But you're going to have to turn it up to high. You don't blend anything at half speed. You can blend it on low, or you can blend it on high. Okay? So you save yourself some money because this is going to be pretty pricey. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it on high, and then you listen. Actually, I'm going to put the mic right next to it. But you listen, and once you hear it wind up, and that's when we turn it up. You heard it winding up. Didn't even let it get there. And I wanted everything to be represented. We put a good amount of coconut water in there, probably more than what I normally would put, which is okay. Coconut water, that's the one thing about the coconut water versus adding regular water. We have regular water, it's going to water it down. We have coconut water, it's going to enhance it. Okay, so that's true for especially any salad dressing, and definitely any soup. So anytime you're making a soup, salad dressing, anything that requires a lot of water, coconut water. All right, so we're gonna put some scallions. We're gonna chop those up. Put those in there.
You got the recipe for that in your book?
No, this is the recipe. I did the recipe. Cut it small. A little small. Again, our scallions are considered hot, and it just gives us a little more texture. It's a different texture, varying texture. And while he's doing it, finish that. Put some avocado in there. Actually, our pepper is still a little salty, so we're going to take the stem off the top. So what we're going to do is just put it back in the blender. We'll just add some tomatoes. Let's do all this. So again, that pretty much does it. We had some fresh corn, and that, and that's our recipe. Yeah, we didn't add any additional salt. If you want to just do like a touch, that would be okay. And we got our fire in there, so it's got some energy. So that's essentially our recipe. So what we do is try this. We'll figure out. Well, maybe what we'll do is what we do is just we'll create some sample cups at our booth, and then we'll pass them all out until we finish the chili. All right, that's cool. All right. Yeah, if there's any questions, I can answer any questions, Sarah. Anybody? Good? Yes.
I want to ask you about this. I know you don't say
unless I can sprout them. Because again, my thing is that if I'm not able to, if I can't just add water to it and I can chew it and digest it and it tastes good, then I shouldn't eat it. Well, again, in terms of the lentil, at least from my experience, I'm not really. I'm somewhat certain that you can sprout lentil. I don't know. I mean, I've seen certain things that look like lentils that sprouted, so I'm going to assume that you can sprout. But sprouting it again is just much better because in terms of the starch in the bean, that's going to be difficult to process and digest. But if we sprout it, now that starch turns into a simple sugar. And now we can break it down easily. It has moisture, it has life. Where because really a bean is really like a seed. And if we ate too much seeds, that could be constipated. That could glue us up. And the thing is that if it doesn't have like some sort of sweet taste to it, or something that like for example, if I just eat a almond or a walnut, there's something that tastes that goes with my taste buds. But if I'm eating a bean, first of all, it's going to be like really hard and difficult. And even if it's fresh, the thing is that it's going to taste more like paste because of the starch. So what I want to do is be able to transform that starch into a simple sugar, just for my own body's benefit. And then the other thing too is like, people like lentil soup and things like that. Again, it goes back to what I said about anytime you're eating starch, you're always going to add oil to it. And oil is really what you want because you're going to need something to slow down or to balance that sugar. So that's really the key thing is that you understand like people like the soup because they like the combination. First they boil it so that it's soft and you can chew it. But then that's not enough. You're going to add some oil or some fat to it. And that's going to basically allow it to be something desirable to the palate. Anybody else? All right. Yes.
I heard a lot of people say that you're not supposed to really eat, raw bread and raw, cauliflower, things that make cruciferous vegetables. How do you have you had no problems eating? Because I know in the past when I used to eat it would make me gassy. Now it's a little different because I've been eating a lot more cleaner. So is it just a matter of just how clean you've been eating?
Yeah, that's part of it. That's definitely part of it. In terms of, everyone had a question. In terms of like vegetables, especially cruciferous vegetables, things like cabbage and some of the heavier grains, because we eat lots of kale, collards, spinach, all raw, and we don't have to cook them. We don't have to cook them down. Part of it is our digestive fire. We want to build that up. So the way to build that up is to still do the green, but do green juice. You do more green juices, that will build up the acids. Because again, we're eating too much food that has been revitalized. And what happens is that we lose our digestive fire. So people say, oh, I have to cook the vegetables, only because our bodies are just, we're abusing our temple over time. So the thing is that we lose a lot of our energy. So it becomes challenging. But we can always take it in a juice form. And the thing is it may be something you may need to acclimate your body to over time. Just like anything. We have to sort of transition, but then there may be some pains along the way, some discomfort. And the thing is just like with fasting, it's the same sort of thinking, that we have to sort of take 2 steps back before we take 3 steps forward. And that's probably true of most things in life, is that we have to sometimes take a step back in order to go forward. So with grains, but there is also some truth in terms of, it definitely, like I say beyond a shadow of a doubt, and we are fruitarian, meaning that fruit is our food. That's what it's designed for us. Like we reach up, we can climb the tree, but we should be able to climb the tree. Pick the fruit, the way our bodies are designed is fruit. But however, in every fruitarian species on the globe, green leaves are a big part of the diet. Green leaves. So green leaves definitely, we look at when the green leaf is made up nutritionally, in terms of the alkalinity, in terms of the minerals, because the fruits are going to be more vitamin dominant, but our greens are going to balance the fruits because they're going to be more mineral dominant. So we get our minerals from our greens, our vitamins from our fruits, and that forms a nice balance. Okay, and then we round it out with nuts, seeds, fats, good fats. But again, it's a process. It definitely is a process. A lot of the food, like I was talking about, those of you familiar with Dr. Sadie, a lot of things he talks about, essentially from a raw food perspective, your choices will be very limited. My thing is that, especially with cruciferous vegetables, it's like it's better to eat. Again, this food has water, it has energy, it has enzymes. Yes, it may be a hybrid, but it's all about balance. And the thing is, it's like, we live in a hybrid world, and there's some concessions you have to make. So really, that's more of a personal approach. Those of you who may have that question in terms of understanding like what you're going to eat, what you're not going to eat. So, anything else? All right, thank you.
All right. Now give it up for Brother Khepra.
It's the same lady again.
Yes, 13th annual Financial Day. Lots of awesome energy, lots of beautiful faces. I'd like to thank all of y'all for being here. The flow for today has been organic. It's been natural. We've had a lot of great information. We have 2 more presentations before the workshop information session is done, and then we jump into the party. Right? So y'all ready to rock and roll? Later on, we got some good music here.